Yeah, I got a great roommate story for you, Danny.
Excellent.
It's been about 11 years, so it didn't just happen.
Mm-hmm.
But a roommate stabbed another roommate with a samurai sword when I was in college.
On purpose?
There's, you know, that, you know, it was like kind of a crazy thing. I mean, I'd say no. Probably when you say on purpose, I'd say no to the way that you probably mean on purpose.
Well, like, was there any sort of criminal?
No.
Was there a, there was no police involved?
No. Well, I mean, kind of. He did. The guy that got stabbed did go to the hospital. The police did, contact the other roommate, and it was pretty much an accident.
All right, let's hear the story from start to finish. We'll decide.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I didn't actually hear what you said.
Oh, I said let's hear. Sorry, that might be our fucking shitty reception. I said let's hear about the story here. And,
okay, so we'll set the stage. So we went to Kent State University in Ohio. I don't know if you're familiar. There's kind of a famous
the shooting.
Yeah, the shooting. So it was the day after that. So it's kind of a big deal. There's a big commemoration in Kent.
Oh, okay.
Not in 1970, but in it was. So the shooting was May 4th. This was. So we had some old. We were the hippie house. We had some old hippies, 60-year-olds or whatever, that had somehow ended up coming back to our house, and
like
just just
like they had lived there in the past and they just wanted to come check it out.
Or something like that. I don't actually remember what they were doing there. I was just setting the stage. They actually didn't have anything to do with the incident, but you can just kind of imagine a bunch of old hippies outside, right in Kent State. And one of the roommates over the past week, he just kind of done some psychedelics and never came down. As one of those things. He was on this several-day trip almost, and he was a martial arts guy, and he had a sword, and he was just kind of chanting and going crazy, and we'd just been dealing with it for days, and we weren't really thinking much about the sword, and he was doing some sort of weird ritual, involved chanting, just hippie stuff. And somehow he just snapped, and he yelled, and the sword was in a wooden case, and he slammed the case down on the ground and just kind of walked/drove into the other roommate.
Where did he stab him?
In his liver. And here the plot thickens, Danny. Me and this roommate, the guy that got stabbed, we had the same birthday down to the year. And this was 3 days before our 21st birthday. And he got stabbed in his liver.
Damn. He got stabbed in his liver.
Yeah. And we had this big raging party planned. It was the end of the year, the end of the school year. He got stabbed. It just punctured he survived. It was, he was all right at the end of it. But,
so he went to the hospital. And then what happened after that? Like, so the police, I'm sure he's like, I don't want to press charges.
Yeah.
He just was like, don't worry about it. Like, accidents happen.
Weird as it sounds, yeah, that's kind of what happened. And talking about 11 years later, it's kind of weird that it just de-escalated so quickly. But
lucky for him.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, lucky for everyone involved. Definitely.
Yeah. And how long did your friend take to recover?
Well, he recovered pretty quickly, honestly. He was out of the hospital maybe the next day or the day after. He was at on our birthday 3 days later. He was there. I mean,
and was the guy who stabbed him? Oh, so he was there 3 days later.
They were both there.
Really? And was the guy coming down from his trip?
Well, it just got worse.
How did it get worse than getting stabbed with a samurai sword in the liver?
Okay, well, I mean, like that, there's no single incident that made it worse, but his mental case was worse. We had we had a big party 3 days later, and he just started, he had a big speaker in his room, and he had a big bass, and he just, every few seconds, the bass would hit, and he was just chanting to this, like, boom, like up in the room during this raging college party.
This guy sounds obnoxious. Not even like
it was obnoxious.
Not even like considering the whole like getting on site, because that's the thing. people do drugs and you go, yeah, and then people do stupid things on drugs, and then it's really an eye roll, especially if it's psychedelics. And then you stab someone, like that's, to say it lightly, a real eye roll.
It was pretty crazy, and it was days. It was days after the drugs were done.
Yeah, and was he milking it? He was just
like, no, I don't think so.
He just
was he did end up in a psych ward for I don't know a few weeks or a few months, but the night of our party. He got so crazy, his girlfriend ended up taking him to his parents' house, 50 miles away or something, in the middle of the night, 3 a.m. And he spent some time there, and then I think his mom tried to take him to the doctor to get some sleeping medication, and he was just doing crazy stuff in the doctor's office, and somehow he ended up committed. About a month after this, like a full month went by of him doing crazy stuff.
Yeah. Well,
after the stabbing.
That's the thing. Someone said it, Lyle Chipperson. Psychedelics do make people who are predisposed to schizophrenia kind of break on through. Yeah. So maybe he just had that kind of dormant and then he unlocked it. You got to watch out with psychedelics. Psychedelics are a fun time. Love them. But, man, if you're the wrong kind of person, you take too many of those, it's bad news. Can be bad news.
They make me nervous.
Yeah. Anyways, thanks for calling in. Yeah, that's pretty wild. Stabbed in the liver, but yeah, I guess you can survive that.
Yeah. I wouldn't recommend it for anyone. Well, anyways, thanks for having me, Danny.
Cool.
Have a good one.
Thanks, buddy. Take care.